Well, today we also continue to watch developments in the Middle East, where Israel is advancing its offensive against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered new strikes on the southern suburbs of the capital, Beirut. Thousands of people have fled ahead of the strikes, which are expected to focus on areas where Hezbollah has substantial support. There are also new strikes in southern Lebanon. They come a day after Israeli troops advanced to their deepest point in that country in 26 years. And as Hezbollah launched more rockets at northern Israel and the coastal city of Haifa. The CBC's Willie Lowry joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Willie, this is a considerable expansion of Israel's war in Lebanon. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Arthi, it absolutely is. The Israeli military has significantly ramped up its operations in Lebanon. Over the weekend, they seized the historic and strategic Beaufort Castle, the ruins of which date all the way back to the Crusades. And they have also pummeled areas across southern Lebanon, including the cities of Nabatea and Tyre. Tyre is one of the largest cities in the south. It is also one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on Earth. And now it appears as though they are shifting their focus north to the capital, Beirut. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordering the military to start hitting Dahieh. That is the Hezbollah stronghold in the suburbs of Beirut. Earlier this morning, Netanyahu issued a statement on social media in which he said, quote, "In response to the repeated and ongoing violations of the ceasefire in Lebanon by the terrorist organization Hezbollah and the attacks against our cities and citizens, I have instructed the IDF, together with Defense Minister Israel Katz, to strike terrorist targets in the Dahieh district of Beirut." Now, Arthi, despite the fact that there is theoretically a ceasefire in place between Israel and Lebanon, the Israeli military and Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed militant group, have exchanged nearly constant fire over the last several weeks. Hezbollah has been using these drones that are attached to fiber optic cables that have become a real problem for the Israeli military. They've struggled to detect and defend against them. Earlier today, the IDF confirmed that 2 soldiers had been killed in separate drone attacks over the weekend. Meanwhile, Lebanon's Prime Minister Nawaf Salam has accused Israel of operating a scorched earth campaign against not just Hezbollah, but the Lebanese citizens and civilians. Let's take a brief listen to some of what Salam had to say.
على إسرائيل أن تعلم أنها بسياسة الأرض المحروقة والعقاب الجماعي وتجريف القرى والبلدات لن تكسب لا أمنا ولا استقرارا، بل إنها تعمق الهوى اللبنانيين.
And Arthi, since March 2nd, the UN estimates that more than 1 million Lebanese have been displaced either due to Israeli evacuation orders or Israeli strikes. Salam, for his part, said the way forward needs to be through dialogue.
You know, we talk about the Israeli offensive here advancing, and you made the point to call it a theoretical ceasefire. What does this mean for that truce?
Yeah, well, nothing good, that's for sure. Despite the fact that the two sides really seem to be heating up on the battlefield, there are also rare diplomatic efforts taking place. Representatives from both countries are expected to meet in Washington later this week for yet another round of peace talks. We also know that U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke by phone over the weekend with both Netanyahu, but also Lebanese President Joseph Aoun. We also know from a U.S. source or U.S. official that Washington wants to see Hezbollah stop their attacks, and in exchange, they then would say Israel would then lighten up and stop or not hit Beirut as hard as it might. Important to note, though, that the conflict in Lebanon has the possibility of derailing the bigger negotiations taking place between the U.S. and Iran. Earlier today, Tehran's top negotiator, Mohammad Ghalibaf, took to social media and said, quote, "The naval blockade and escalation of war crimes in Lebanon by the genocidal Zionist regime are clear evidence of U.S. non-compliance with the ceasefire. Every choice has a price, and the bill comes due. It will all fall into place." Tasnim, the semi-official Iranian state news agency, has reported that Iran has cut communications with the U.S. until the situation in Lebanon calms down. Arthi?
Willie, thank you for the latest on this. That is the CBC's Willie Lowry in Jerusalem.